What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Team Solemn Circus live videos. Here we go with my first place Memento deck profile. I haven't kind of shown you guys off this in a while. It's going to be the Fiendsmith variant of the deck. I have changed it up a little bit, and it's going to be included in the side deck. So if you always want to see that, make sure you stay tuned. So we're going to be starting off with the 3 Tatch Nushigu and the 3 Darkblade alongside the 2 Angle Witch. So we are playing still these exact ratios. I have cut down the Angle Witch because we are playing the copy of the Engravers, which is another 1 card starter. We only are playing 2 Engravers though, which is kind of important. So you absolutely can bump this up to 2, or bump this up to 3, I should say. But I just don't really find the need with that many names. I also like having 2 of it because of the fact that I can leave 1 Engraver and also have 1 in deck. So if I would need to summon 1 out off of Bone Party or something like that, I can get that. Or if I want to summon it off like the City effect in the graveyard, being able to pop it, it just feels kind of nice. Also, your opponent doesn't know if you're playing 1 or multiple now, which I think is just absolutely crazy. You need to play more than 1 of these. I don't like Rhoda at all in this deck. This deck doesn't lose to Droll and Lockbird at all, so why would you want to add a card that makes you lose a Droll even more? Then for the other cards, we are playing the 2 Sleepy. I know this is a very hot topic. I love 2 Sleepy. I always have. You guys have seen any deck profiles on the channel with Memento. I've been playing 2 Sleepy. This card absolutely rocks at 2, letting you be able to play during your turn and then during your opponent's turn whenever something is destroyed. Just feels absolutely crazy. And like this is going to be the time where they try to nib you the most. So having another copy of itself, just it feels so free because you can always just use it in the hand as well. If you have a fusion with it, or you can just keep it, you know. You search 1 and you dump 1. They don't think you have another one if they're playing at like a regional live event. But like my locals now knows that I am playing 2 of it, so they are going to be playing a little bit differently now, which is kind of important. But like Sleepy is just super underrated for anyone who has not known. And they are playing 1 of the rest, you know, not much to say. You can definitely bump up to Goblin if you want to play the Grand Bash, the Goblin card. You can definitely do that if you want to play it for a budget version. If you don't want to play the Fiendsmith cards, we're just not doing that. Therefore, you don't need to play double Goblin. Then for the Fiendsmith engine, we only are playing 2 Engraver, 1 Lacrima, and 1 Lurie. There's not much else you really kind of have to add to this. I'm excited for the Rarity Collection 3 Bonanza to put this as a secret rare. That's going to be kind of sick. But yeah, there's no reason to play 3 Engraver. A lot of times I felt myself breaking on it with like 1 of these and then like Lacrima or Lurie or the copy of Track. So just having the 2 felt really the best. You do lose some consistency with it, as well as you lose the power to be able to banish them both. With the Aerial Eater, you have to make sure that you know that it's going to be banished, so you can't go for another one, which is important. But other than that, it doesn't really come up that often. You definitely can play 3 of it. I'm just preferring right now not to. And then for the hand traps, we are obviously playing the best hand trap of the game. Flowros, triple Ash Blossoms, triple Imperms, and this is going to be a weird topic. We're playing 2 Veilers. So you could cut the Cobble of the Grave for a 3rd Veiler. This is just my 2 like flex spots right now in the deck. So I am opting, you know, this could be another Fiendsmith if you wanted to. I just haven't really decided what I want to do. I don't love Flowros the most in this deck. I think that it's so much better in a bunch of other decks if you have discards. But like this can still be kind of good. You know, obviously going 2nd, you draw into more engine. More Sleepy is kind of crazy. You know, depending on how many mental cards you have in your hand, you can just do different lines or changes. But you don't play that many hand traps, which is important to note that like if you're going to be doing that, just have to know the different lines you're going to be doing when you open up like maybe a Mace, a Goblin, and even like a Witch. Unfortunately, you can't play any of the Dominus cards in this deck because they are a bunch of different attributes, but we can still play Imperm, which is pretty nice. And then we do have the Metolian City, as well as people are no longer playing Talents because they have more of those traps in the format, so that's kind of nice for us as well. Then we have triple Bone Party, and then the double copies of Fusion, and the 1 Track, 1 Cobble of the Grave, as well as the 1 Fracture Dance. So we have changed this up. This is now no longer in our side, it's in our main. This is because the Azamina deck, it's really hurtful, as well as like Rescue Ace and like the Fire King. Being able to just pop their field spell at any time and then pop another card is so free. So we're kind of doing it that way. You know, Snake Eyes is also really good as well, where you can kind of like bait out some of the negates and then just being able to like Fracture Dance pop. Like people know that if they just get rid of the combined creation, that you're not going to have your negates anymore. So just having a Fracture Dance, being able to pop numerous stuff on the field just feels kind of nice. Even if it's just a pop 1, it's still pretty good. You don't need to play multiple fusion. Huron now lets you add back your 1 fusion that you banished, which is really cool. So you can normally end on both of these or all 3. And then Track is Track, and Cobble of the Grave is Cobble of the Grave. You definitely can cut Cobble of the Grave if you want to. You have a lot of ways to dodge hand traps. I just really like it for like Shifter and stuff like that. Now for the extra deck, we are playing the 2 copies of Creation King. We are playing the 1 Twin Dragon, the 1 Cross Sheep, the 1 SP, the 1 Herald, this is kind of part of your end board and stuff. And we have like the Moon, the Requiem, the Sequence, the Princess, the Aerial Eater, the Desiree, the Wave King Caesar. So these are kind of like super standard. This is like everything you want to play in this deck that you mandatorily have to. You can cut down the Caesar. I recommend not to. I think Caesar is absolutely crazy. You can play different lines through Nib by making this, and then like your opponent just can't really out you, especially post side by putting in the Cranium Burst. Like you're gonna be pretty much just winning. And you have 2 last spots in the deck. So this is gonna be like all your cards that you have to mandatory play. And for the last 2 cards, I'm opting to play an Underworld Goddess as well as a Twin Dragon. So this is the reason why, is because Castillo was running around a little bit rampant at our locals. And when you're only playing 1 Twin Dragon, they're going to always hit it. You know, you might be wondering, why are they going to do that? They could hit your Requiem, they could hit your Moon. The problem is that this deck doesn't need the Fiendsmith cards. You can use the Fiendsmith cards for anything else. So hitting the Twin Dragon can actually be really crucial for you, because then you just lose access to a draw, like a search 2 essentially, as well as being able to summon back out. And then your lines become completely different. So I'm just really enjoying the Twin Dragon. And then Underworld Goddess, nobody really pays attention to it. You're like Moon Effect, like, oh, is this bait? And then I saw them just go into an Underworld Goddess and be like, oh, okay, that's kind of crazy. Did that versus Tempai, won me the game, game 1 there. But like, you can play Chaos Angel if you want to. You can play, you know, Silhouette Rabbit. You can play Access Code. You can play Typhon. You can play Selene. You can play whatever you want. If you want to play more of the fusion cards, you can. Draco's Tapelia, whatever you want to. These 2 last slots are absolutely flexible, ultimately up to you and whatever is around your locals area. Then for the side deck, we have now swapped this around. This is now in the side deck, like I mentioned earlier. I think that it's fine in the side deck. I haven't really missed it at all. You know, a lot of the times I would find myself sliding into the trap. So just having like the option just feels kind of nice when I'm going first. The other cards are really good going second as well. So that's kind of why the Cranium Burst is in the side now. And then we are playing the triple D barrier. I want to mention that I would never not play this card. This card's busted. But yeah, I just don't think right now it's the format where everything's kind of all gas. It doesn't come up as much. But yeah, D barrier is pretty much a win card against Azamina, against a bunch of other stuff, branded, whatever you want. Tempai as well. So I'm opting to play this over the Judgments, because a lot of decks are now playing like Lightning Storms as well, post side. So being able to just flip this up against what you're playing, and then, you know, no matter what, if it leaves the field, it's fine. It's kind of like just a win automatic card, which I really do enjoy. And then we are playing the Perlias. If you're not playing it in the main deck, you play it in the side deck. I really wish we didn't have this. I'm not excited for the next Mulch Army, because then it just feels like, well, you have 6 cards in your side deck at all times, going to be like accounted for with the Mulch Armies, which makes siding a little bit more weird, but it is what it is. And then we have the Spell Trap Hate package, the Duster, and the Cosmics. And then for the hand trap, we are playing the triple Ghost Ogres and the double DD Crow. I have swapped out the Magnamut and the Lubellion, or Magnamut and the Druisworm for DD Crows. This is so I can hit like random cards in the graveyard that I find are a little bit more better, like the Hallowed Azamina, being able to hit that so it doesn't add itself back to the hand. And like a bunch of other random rogue matchups, this can come up a lot more as well. If I can't hit like some of the fire cards, I can hit it with the DD Crow, or even against Brandon, you know, being able to banish their copy of like banish their copy of Brandon Fusion. So they have to get the effect off of like a fusion duplication they ended up setting. This turn is kind of crazy as well. DD Crows is really nice, especially in the mirror match as well. This card goes hard. And then Ghost Ogre obviously is a good hand trap this format against like Mimigul, against Tempai, against a bunch of early decks. If you have the ability to use Ogre correctly, it can just come up significantly, which is kind of really good. That's going to be it for the deck profile. I don't really have any else to explain to you guys. If you guys want to see anything else or know any of the reasons why I played certain cards, let me know in the comment section down below. It's pretty standard for us on the channel to play this exact kind of build of the deck. I am obviously changing around a little bit in there once in a while, you know, not playing Full Roast or playing like multiple copies of Engraver and stuff like that. I don't think you can play the deck with 1 Engraver and 1 Lacrima. I think that 2 is definitely needed. But you can obviously play whatever you want. If you want to play Pure, you can as well. The deck changes a little bit and has a little bit more resilience. I definitely recommend picking up the Goblin Biker cards if you're going to be playing the Pure version. But regardless, hope you're watching the video. Let me know in the comment section what else you guys want to be seeing. Stay safe. Peace.